I want to talk today about COP26. You might know about the United Nations Global Climate Conference, which is happening in just over 1 week in Glasgow, Scotland, where all nations around the world will come together to discuss action on climate change. And we want to make sure that island voices are really represented at the core of that discussion, especially this year, because last year the COP was cancelled due to obviously the pandemic. And this year there are still significant issues with travel for many countries around the world, particularly for small island states globally. These countries make up a large number of delegates or nations at the COP. They're some of the most vulnerable to climate issues, but also the ones that are going to find it the hardest to get there under normal circumstances, but even more so now with the restrictions of the pandemic. So with just over 1 week away, I'm going to share with you a little bit about how Island Innovation is creating a hybrid space to connect islanders around the world with what is happening on the ground in Glasgow with their own communities for those that can't be there in person. And this applies just as much for small island states in the Caribbean and the Pacific and Indian Ocean as it does for the islands around Scotland, such as Shetland and Orkney and the Outer Hebrides, and many others. And we want this to be an inclusive space to represent all islands, regardless of their political status and regardless of their location and climate. The idea of our island space at COP is to be a hybrid space with a calendar that shares anything island related happening at the event. And we're very proud to be partnering with the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator to hold this event, who will also be holding several sessions throughout the week that will be available to join virtually. We will have a global agenda that covers anything happening related to the COP and islands. And so we invite you to submit your island related events to be considered for inclusion in that agenda. And we will also have an island innovation agenda for our specific sessions. Every day we'll be producing a bulletin, and this bulletin will summarize the key news that is relevant for islanders globally to know about what is happening at the COP. And obviously this is crucial given the urgency now of the recent IPCC report showing that we need to take action on climate, and especially while so many island economies are still recovering from the impact of the COVID pandemic. The COP allows delegations to be sent from every nation in the world. So nearly 200 countries will have delegations, but many islands that might be larger than some countries attending do not have a delegation. And so we also want to be mindful that, let's say, Hawaii or Guadeloupe or the Falkland Islands, each of which are territories respectively of the United States, France, and the UK, may have quite different needs and wishes than the capitals that are representing them. But given the structure, may not have direct representation in the negotiations. And so this should be a space for islands that are territories or integral parts of countries and don't have their own delegations to connect with the members of the Association of Small Island States that will be present and help put their weight behind that to pressure their delegations to make action on climate change. So if you're interested in supporting islanders around the world, have their voice heard at the COP26, and also to get regular updates and opportunities connected with the event, please do participate in our island space at COP. You can go to islandinnovation.co/COP26, and the link is in the bio here. And it's open to anyone with an interest. We encourage you to share that and make this connection between the important event happening in Glasgow with what is happening on the ground in islands around the world. So hopefully we'll see you there, and please do get in touch if you're also going to be there in Glasgow. Thank you very much.